Hey there, you're listening to Delve, the official management thought leadership podcast of McGill University, where we want to change how you think about management. So my name's Eric Dicaire, and I'm Delve's managing editor. So a leader's approach to hierarchy can have profound strategic implications for their organization. So in this special feature, with the help of experts from McGill University, we're going to explore the strategic opportunities that come from engaging employees up and down the ladder. We're also going to look at what it means to have a hierarchy in the first place and what it would mean to abandon them entirely. So, if you like this content, be sure to subscribe to Delve in your favorite podcast player so we can keep bringing you great management insights just like this. So with that out of the way, let's delve into it. So every employee in an organization has insights that can inform strategy. They have a direct line of sight on customers' needs, internal processes, and can help find new pathways towards success. But tapping into this potential isn't easy. It requires a close examination of organizational hierarchies, the role of leaders within them, and how information travels up and down the corporate ladder. The textbook approach is hierarchical. Develop a strategy at the C-suite and rely on employees to execute. But based on insights from several experts at McGill University, this can leave the organization vulnerable to strategic blind spots and missed opportunities. The hierarchical view is amplified and incentivized by toxic masculinity among some top executives. Macho approaches to leadership leave leaders blind to the emotional currents that drive their own and employees' behaviors. And this lack of emotional awareness can prevent leaders from connecting and tapping into employees' strategic potential. Instead, through emotional awareness and listening, a bottom-up approach to strategy sees employees as more than executors of a vision. They're strategic collaborators. Such a perspective can inspire new and exciting strategic directions. And in its most radical form, it can be an opportunity to shape an organization according to a new set of values. A chance to be the change that they want to see in the world. So Henry Mintzberg is a professor of management at McGill University. He's also the author of several influential management books. In a Delve podcast interview, he explained how every member of an organization, from the C-suite to the factory floor, is capable of having profound strategic insights. If leaders make space for everyone's perspectives, they can help push their organization into new and surprising directions. For Mintzberg, it all comes down to what he calls strategic moments, where a person identifies an opportunity that no one else can see yet. It's easy to save this kind of strategic thinking for the higher-ups, but there's no reason that we have to, he said. Strategic thinking is a skill that anyone can possess and use to bring value to an organization. Quote, "They're open to ideas that come up that are quite unusual, which is similar to any perceptive person," said Mintzberg on the Delve podcast, referring to people who are adept at strategic thinking. They'll see something and say, "Wow, what an opportunity that no one else sees." Organizations have found great success by engaging with employees and empowering them to share their ideas. In 1953, IKEA catalog manager Gillis Lundgren had a strategic moment that changed the landscape of the home furniture industry. Trying to fit a table in the back of his small car, he became frustrated, and that's when he realized, why not take off the legs? So what ensued was a dramatic shift in IKEA's strategic direction. If Lundgren struggled to load a table in his car, IKEA's customers must struggle too. So he quickly became a tireless advocate of selling unassembled furniture in flat packaging and convinced Ingvar Kamprad, the founder of IKEA, to make this a central part of the company. And over the next half-century, flat packing would help turn IKEA into a global leader in home furniture. This strategic victory did not originate in a boardroom. It came from a motivated employee who had a strategic moment and was empowered to share his ideas. So strategy can come from anywhere in an organization, but it takes emotional work to access it. So Quy Huy is a professor of management at INSEAD. In the 1990s, he began publishing research on the role of emotions in the workplace, and he found that among C-suite executives, there was a macho approach to leadership. They would place value on masculine traits, like being tough and suppressing emotions, to make decisions that they thought were rational and unbiased. Not much has changed since Huy began writing on the subject. Quote, emotions have always been viewed organizationally and from the strategy perspective as highly undesirable, said Huy. People who have emotions are perceived as irrational. They are saboteurs. They are destroying the organization. When leaders adopt this view of emotions, it hurts them, their employees, and their strategic potential. Indeed, the pursuit of sober-minded decision-making is a noble one. It's better not to make big decisions when in extreme emotional states. But internalizing stress and emotions can lead to severe mental health effects down the road. And more than that, those who don't pay attention to their emotions are less attuned to others. This emotional blindness can be detrimental to any attempts at strategic change. Quote, emotions are fairly common and fairly shared in the collective, said Huy. If we all feel skeptical or angry about change, and I know you feel the same way about the change, we are going to attack it together. So for Huy, collective negative emotions can make staff resistant to changes imposed by management. It's important for leaders to recognize the collective mood of their staff to ensure that everyone is pulling in the same direction, so they can effectively execute the desired strategic actions. Professor Quy Hui's views on emotions speaks to the importance of listening to employees and understanding where they're coming from. For Huy, this can help management deploy strategy more effectively by uniting everyone towards a common goal. This kind of listening isn't just about executing strategy. It creates the conditions for employees to help create strategy. Workers are more likely to share their strategic insights if they feel their employer cares about them. Care, emotional awareness, and connection with employees up and down the hierarchy can thus be powerful strategic tools. Understanding employees' emotions helps leaders better address employees' needs so they feel more motivated to work together and contribute strategic insights. And in return, leaders unlock new perspectives from across their organization that can help set it up for success. Professor Quy Hui's and Henry Mintzberg's approaches to strategy involve opening up to others, viewing employees as valued collaborators, and allowing communication between all levels of an organization. This is in contrast to traditional, top-down management styles where higher-ups prescribe strategy and employees are expected to execute it. For Saku Montara, professor of strategy and organization at McGill University, organizations that eschew hierarchy in favor of a more egalitarian approach may be engaging in a kind of prefiguration, adopting and acting on values that they wish to see in the world. Some NGOs and social movement organizations in particular have started questioning the age-old adage that hierarchy is a universal means to whatever ends, be it money or values-based. Quote, the way an organization approaches hierarchy reflects values and identity shared in that organization, said Montara. So a tech founder with humanist and egalitarian beliefs may choose to structure their company accordingly, focusing on empowerment and attending to employees' needs. Twitter, before it became X, stands out as an example here. Jack Dorsey, one of the platform's co-founders and former CEOs, viewed Twitter as a place for people to connect and understand each other, despite the platform's shortcomings and controversies. And this worldview permeated throughout the organization, where employees were treated to an endless supply of snacks, flexible hours, and other perks. Dorsey also famously had a hands-off approach to management, met every new employee, and focused on empowering them to build their own ideas. Dorsey's management style fell short of completely rejecting hierarchies. He still understood himself as a leader and stepped in when necessary. But he came close, and his approach raises questions about what hierarchy is for and who it's meant to serve. So the furthest we can go from hierarchical organization is anarchy, an organizing principle which eschews stable bases of power. As a concept, anarchy or anarchism conjures images of broken glass and fists in the air, but it's actually a robust political philosophy that challenges societies to rethink the relationship between people and institutions. It's a radical form of democratic governance, founded on a constant renegotiation of shared values and positions of authority. Professor Jane Malenfant and PhD candidate Hannah Bray, both from McGill University, explored how anarchist principles could help improve public services, such as education and child welfare services. For them, hierarchies often serve the status quo, baking in inequities that harm vulnerable people. So anarchy is about putting the relationship on equal footing so that organizations better meet the needs of individuals regardless of their background or socioeconomic status. Quote, to me, it's about how we unlearn and relearn different ways of making decisions together, said Malenfant. They acknowledge that hierarchies aren't going to disappear overnight, but adopting some anarchist principles might help organizations better serve people inside and outside of their ranks. This, for Bray, requires bravery. Quote, it might mean engaging with other people you've never engaged with before, she said, when maybe the hierarchy that you operated through to get your own sense of security didn't ever value that person. Hierarchies and the interactions that exist within them can have profound strategic implications. Managers who are attuned to their own and employees' emotions can effectively unite them towards a strategic goal. And this emotional awareness can create conditions that allow employees to bring their own strategic insights to the table, opening the organization to exciting new opportunities. And this raises questions about what hierarchy is for in the first place. If every employee is capable of strategic insights, why not put them on equal footing with organizational leaders? So in that spirit, one might opt to reject hierarchies altogether, embodying an anarchist approach that prioritizes egalitarian values above all else. This would be unconventional to say the least, but it would be a strong statement against traditional top-down structures that are so pervasive in other bureaucracies. But short of abandoning hierarchies altogether, leaders can empower their employees in other ways. But to do it well, organizations and leaders must guard against inauthenticity. A teacher won't care about sharing strategic ideas if they can't get pencils for their classroom. Neither will a warehouse worker if their salary barely covers rent. So if managers are preaching inclusivity and connection with their employees, they must also account for their employees' personal interests. Otherwise, they risk losing the very participation they were hoping to capitalize on. So all right, and that's today's episode. I hope you liked it. So this story was written and read by me, Eric Dicaire, Delve's managing editor. Saku Mantara is Delve's editor-in-chief, and he produced all the original music. If you liked this content, please let us know. This is a bit different from what we usually do, and your feedback is always welcome. So you can send us an email at delve@mcgill.ca. That's delve@mcgill.ca. That's all for now, so don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Take care.